LFC Daytrippers, brought to you by bookmakers.com.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Midweek Fix from the LFC Daytrippers, sponsored by bookmakers.com. This is Gav and Keith, and we're going to talk about Premier League ambitions. And what we mean by that is we're going to have a look through the whole league, and we're going to predict where we think it will end up. And because we're just about on the halfway point, check out bookmakers.com, their website and their YouTube channel in the description. I've just recorded a show for them, which should go out tomorrow. So if you're subscribed with the bell icon on, you will see me, a guy called Liam, who's a United fan, and another guy called Jamie, who's a Spurs fan, preview the FA Cup and talk about our own clubs as well. It was really good, 45 or so minutes. It was really, really good, so go and check that out. Keith, how are you? People have been asking, where's Keith? Where is fucking Keith? And I said, he's on his Christmas holidays.
That was just my family. That was my agent. That was my representative.
Was
so
it
I
your
wasn't
missus?
happy.
Had you gone missing over the Christmas? Your missus asked me.
No, I wasn't happy. I'm there all week looking at you and Shawnee Lawson smashing great shows out of the park. And I'm like, why am I not on this anymore? Got me agent to hound you. Get me back on the show, will you? Now, I've enjoyed the shows this week, Gav.
Yeah, they've been good.
I've just, you know yourself, Christmas is Christmas, and I'm looking to get back in doing them myself. But I really enjoyed the shows you and Shawnee were doing this week, and keep smashing them.
Yeah, they were good. They were really good. And it'll settle down a bit more next week when we get to some sort of normality where we know what day of the week it is for a start, because we've been struggling with that, to be honest with you. Like every day of the week I'm asking, what day is it? What actual fucking day is it? But look, it's one of those. So while Keith's camera messes up and he pauses himself, and I think he's going to end up falling off screen in a second, and he will come back in. The idea of this show is we are going to look at probably from the bottom to the top of the Premier League, and then we're going to see where we think it will end up. Keith has frozen, his internet is still on its Christmas holidays by the looks of it. So if you're in the chat, you're all very welcome. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, but most importantly, get involved with the chat tonight. And as I said, I have a random question for Keith later on. I haven't told him what it is yet, but it is about domestic stuff again, along the lines of butter and bread. We are going to talk about our charity push, which should kick off next Monday, and it's much bigger than I thought it was. I'm going to be honest with you, it is much bigger than I thought it was. So I'm going to drop Keith out there for a minute, and I'll just talk to the chat. City have beaten Chelsea 1-0 at Stamford Bridge tonight. Can anybody let me know if Raheem Sterling or Pulisic, I think it was, they went off injured? Are they serious? Just knocks? What was it? I didn't see any of the game, so let me know what's going on there. Chris wants to know why Keith gets Christmas holidays. Kevin Sullivan and I need new agents or better contracts. Go away out with that. You're all over me every day. I'll do this and I'll do that. So you're mad into it. And Red Steve says this is why Plunkett doesn't get invited on anymore. Yeah, his internet has absolutely crashed. So I'll start us off. I have asked Keith to pick us a bottom three at the end of the season. The current bottom three, which I'm going to look up now. I know it's Southampton in 20th. I know it's Everton, I think, are in, they might be 19th or 18th. But I'll find out now for you. But the bottom three, Wolves are 19th, Everton 18th, West Ham 17th, Bournemouth 16th, Forest 15th, Leeds 14th, Leicester 13th, and then there's a bit of a gap to Palace. Pulisic is just a knock. Sterling hamstring, says Kevin Sullivan. So one serious, one not so serious maybe. So it could be good. Eunice has already picked his bottom three. He's gone all in. Southampton, Forest and Bournemouth. I think Southampton go down. I think that's a fairly safe bet. I think they've looked very poor. I don't think they've got any bounce whatsoever off the new manager, which the clubs usually do when it kind of gets them going. I think they go down. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they do go down. I think Everton go down. I do think Everton go down. I just think where they are, the manager they have, the players they have, the options they have financially, I think they're going to struggle in a bad way, and I think Bournemouth go down. I think Bournemouth, you know, the way they're playing, they kind of got a good run of results, but even with that, they're 2 points off the drop zone. I think Forest stay up. I think if you look at Forest and you look at, you know, their home form is quite good. And I was only thinking to myself the other day, their home form might do it for them. If they can get 4 or 5 wins, you know, that put them up near 30 points, and, you know, that'd be quite close. And then they go and win away. And you're kind of going, geez, they're throwing the other way win in as well, which is quite good. Laszlo says appointing Nathan Jones at Southampton was suicide. The City ground might help Forest in the last few weeks of the season, says Eunice. And just going back on the Chelsea stuff, Pulisic looked like a proper impact on his ankle, or the band could be on his knee. Gav, do you think the loss to Bramford has changed the club's thoughts on this transfer window, says Jake Semester? We get on to Liverpool in a little bit, but no, I don't think it will. Is Keith signing for Benfica? I don't know. He's gone long enough. He might have signed and gone off. But I'm presuming he sent me a message now to tell me exactly what's going on. He just said, give me a minute. The internet's gone. Will we guess that, Keith? Chris Golding reckons West Ham are looking well. Roby, look, throw in your bottom threes. What do you think? What do you think it might be? Alejandro thinks Bournemouth versus Forest will be a close fight for relegation. Does anybody disagree with everything going down? Now, I know most people in the chat be absolutely delighted at the thoughts of everything going down, but, you know, does anybody or anybody think that everything can get out of this? Because any Everton fan I speak to the minute is like, no, we're going down. Bejan said he received his hat today. Jesus, that took a long time to get to you, but I know you're miles away. But you're very, very welcome, although I'm not too sure if it drops below 25 degrees where you live. So, it could be... I don't know how good the hat's going to be for you, but listen, wear it if you want in the heat that you live in, and that's absolutely fine. What can we do? We can't do anything about it. Let me see. Southampton, Everton and Wolves, says Laszlo. Do you think Wolves will? I think Wolves, and I'm afraid to say their manager's name because I'll get it wrong, but I think since they've come in, they've looked a bit more compact. They got to win away at Everton, which is no big shake, I suppose. They draw at Villa, don't they? They're beaten by United, but I think they've enough. I think the signing of Cunha now it gives them more of a goal threat as well. I think Wolves might have enough. Southampton, Everton, Bournemouth, says Kevin O'Sullivan. That's who I have. I see Bournemouth being dragged in. Red Steve wants Southampton and Everton twice. I just can't. And Eunice says Everton drew with City. They have enough fight in them. I would have agreed with you, Eunice, but the issue I have here is that when they were beaten by Brighton the other night, they looked so ragged. They looked like a team that just not had given in, but there was an inevitability about what was going to happen to them. Like once that second goal went in, it was just, this is never going to happen for them. Rory believes that the bottom three needs to sign goals. A good investment there could save their season. I tell you, a good go to Everton. Hassan Houghton says Papandreou. Right. Everton have problems on all angles here. One, their owners. Bill Kenwright's still knocking around the gaff. Right? Mashiri, I've listened to the Blue Room today. He hasn't been at a game for Everton since late 2021. That's an issue. Usman's money is no longer going in there. So they're struggling massively financially. And the setup, it just seems wrong. Their manager isn't good enough. No matter what you say about him, and he gets them and this, that, and the other, he's not good enough. Right? He wasn't good enough at Derby. He wasn't good enough at Chelsea. He's not good enough for Everton. Simple as that. Right? Their players aren't good enough. The players they've signed aren't good enough. Even going back into summer and under financial kind of restrictions, but they still spend money on Dwight McNeil for some reason. They spend money on Onana, who's very hit and miss by the looks of it. Mopay comes in for 18 million quid or something. Doesn't look like he can hit a barn door. And they just, unless something massive happens, and they've been linked with Danny Ings, unless something massive happens, I just don't know where to get out of it. I think they're conceding goals. I think they're not scoring goals. And, like, you know, without being absolutely blindingly obvious, you're conceding and you're not scoring, you're in trouble. And I just don't know if he can pick them up, because for me, his track record, Lampard, will be he will turn on. If he turns on the owners, will will it be suicide? They'll probably sack him, but it might get a bit of leeway with the fans. But if he turns on the players or the fans, which I think he's done a little bit, he's in serious bother. And who comes in? Like, and I've mentioned already on a show on bookmakers.com, we were speaking about Everton and we were saying, who comes in? Are the owners mad enough to put someone in for 6 months, give them a load of money, and if they still get relegated, they've just spent a load of money with no forward planning whatsoever? Do they give someone a 3-year contract and they go down and you're like, he doesn't want to manage in the Championship? And then the players are looking, going, this fella for 6 months, it's just all over the place. Chris Golding reckons Keith's neighbours have changed the Wi-Fi password. He's rebooting the internet, but I don't know how long it's taken him. But I'm going to go, and I was going to ask Keith, but he's too late now. I'm going to go Southampton, Everton, Bournemouth. Now that might change in 3 months, and one of them might be well out of trouble, but at the moment for me, that's how it looks. It kind of goes right up to Leicester, and then there's a gap to Crystal Palace, but Europe is big, and the FA Cup's coming up, and a lot of players might write off, or a lot of teams might write off Europe because of or write off the FA Cup because they want to get into Europe and Champions League, and that includes at the moment Chelsea, Newcastle, Liverpool, United, Arsenal, Spurs, City. There's loads of them. Hold on, I'm trying to get Keith back here. Guess, here we go.
Start again.
Keith.
Start again. Back to the beginning.
I'm not starting again. Give me a bottom three.
Oh, we're doing that, are we? Jeez,
yeah, I've done it.
Much. Right. Southampton, gone. I don't think they have anything about them before my internet goes again. The worry I'd have with Southampton, they don't have a good manager of pedigree, and they don't really have enough about them, so they're in trouble. I think they go down. I think they ever gone. I think they've been circling the drain for a few years now. They're on their way out. And the third team going down, I'm looking at it. Wolves are currently in the bottom three. I fancy them to get out, to be honest. I'm looking West Ham. I think Bournemouth will go down. I think they'll be the third team.
They're the exact three I picked.
Southampton, Everton, Bournemouth. That's who I see going. And for the reason that Bournemouth and Southampton, like I said, even though the managers are in a pedigree, they don't have the quality, and Everton are just absolute disaster. They're all turning on Frank now, looking for someone else that gets them. Shy, muck, get rid of them.
I seen a great picture earlier where it was just a picture. Remember the dog they paraded around Goodison? And it was just a bubble above his head going on, not again. But like, I just think they're in serious bother. I really
are. It's toxic. We said this for years, Gav. It's toxic around Everton. And I remember Villa a few years ago, before they got relegated, they kept hanging on and scraping by the skin of their teeth until eventually they were gone. And I see Everton in the same sort of vein as that. They're getting away with it, and they're not improving. You talked about it last night, about the players and the signings he'd made, and they're getting worse. Do you know what I mean? They're getting worse. So, yeah, I can see them finally going. Thank God they're shit as well this year. Takes a bit of the bleeding heat off us.
Yeah, I picked the exact same three. Marine Boy says Southampton, Bournemouth, and dirty Leeds to drop in. I think Leeds will have enough. I think Leeds might be. There's a couple of clubs down there where you go, but there's three worse than us. You know the way that it's not like you're brilliant. There's just three worse than us. And as I've said before earlier on, I was listening to the Blue Room with Dave Downey and that following the Brighton game, and they were like, we always kind of look, don't we? It's this that we're at this stage of the year again where we're going, is there three that are worse than us? And the three lads on the show are like, no, there's not. There's not three worse than us. Like, so I just think that's the bottom three. But like I said, Keith, we could be sitting here in 2 months' time and one of those is sitting in 11th.
And that's how the way the league is got. Don't start.
No, you're okay. No, he's gone again. I don't know what he's done to his internet. What has Keith done to his internet? But look, I'll let him go and see what happens, and we'll try get him back in a couple of minutes. But let's look further up the table. Couple of teams I think will be clear of danger, but not really threatening on a European level. Keith's back. Are you okay now? What's wrong with your internet, Keith? Let's
I
have a
don't
talk about
know.
it.
Don't know what's going on. I'm waiting on me missus to storm out now. Wondering why the telly isn't
I
working
wonder
in
why
the room
Netflix
and
isn't
all. So
working.
everything's gone. So I don't know what's
Egyptian
happening.
King reckons FSG have cut him off, and we're gonna have to. We're
No, I'm
gonna
an
have.
FSG good boy. Not a chance
You're
of
a
him
good
getting
boy.
cut off. Yeah.
I reckon. I reckon we might have to go around and have a look at your router and check it out.
My router's usually solid, but it's flashing all sorts of lights. I played an R2D2 over there. It's just colouring up every couple of minutes. So I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Well, look, if you fall out again, we just keep bringing you back. All right.
Yeah, that's
You're
it.
ruining the
Yeah.
show, but look, there's nothing we can do about
Look,
it.
I haven't been home in ages, so you're just
Yeah.
going to have to take me.
You're
Take me
coming
as I
back in.
am, or you're
You're
not
coming
getting
back
me
in
at all.
installments, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, couple of teams, Keith, that will be safe, fine, but won't really threaten going towards that kind of 8th, 9th to 12th, 13th positions.
Yeah.
Who are you bundling in there? You're throwing in Leicester, Palace. I think Palace are like the absolute marker.
Yeah.
Brentford,
Brentford. Fulham, Brighton. Yeah, I mean, currently you've got Fulham in 7th, you've Brighton in 8th, Brentford 9th,
Chelsea
Chelsea are
sitting 10th.
10th, Villa 11th, and the likes of Villa, they were in trouble, and it just goes to show, a couple of wins and you do
Yeah.
jump up that league, so it's hard to predict this year because I'd go with Palace, Villa, Brentford, Brighton. I think will be in that sort of 9th to 12th range.
Yeah, because it's usually isn't
Fulham
it?
even. I don't know.
It's usually 14th to 20th where they're in the horrible spot towards the end of the season, and then 3
So
fall in.
you're throwing. I'm looking at Forest, Leicester, Leeds, West Ham. People say West Ham are too good. You know what I mean? But they look scaldy, and the David Moyes is finally catching up with him, I think. But
Do you think he last, Keith?
yeah, I think he has a lot of I think he has a lot of clout there. Do you know what I mean? They brought him back. I think he does have a lot of pull. I think he will last, but I don't know. It'd be interesting if Frank gets the bullet from Everton with him being the next West Ham boy. Could they pull the trigger and go for him? And I know that sounds ridiculous, but there's not many managers out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, without going for the usual suspects, the old guard, the Sam Allardyces and all that. I know Sean Dyche is circling, but you'd fancy him to take the Everton job sooner rather than later. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But there's some bad teams in there this year, and then there's some overachieving teams. Like we said, Brentford. Brentford are a great club, great run. They're the proper money ball and statistics and all, aren't they? Like, they do
They
all that
were
sort
they
of
were
there.
like that, but do you know what impresses me about Brentford? I was only thinking back to it. I think they get beaten in a playoff final. I think they do, just before their stadium
Yeah.
is due to go, and then they come up, or maybe their stadium is done, and they arrive bang on the money. But what they've done there, going from where they were to where they are now, stadium wise, and their manager, their team, the way they invest, they've bought. It looks like they bought a winger / striker in the last couple of days as well.
Yeah.
And they beat Liverpool the other day, and overall they deserve it. Don't get me wrong, they deserve it.
Yeah.
But they're not trying to overshoot themselves, but they know where they can get comfortable in this league, and I think they're comfortable between, say, 9th and 13th, and they'd be absolutely delighted with that.
They're in a lovely position because they can do these transfers and there's no immediate pressure. And it's the same with Brighton. Like, we laud Brighton's recruitment strategy, but essentially they're not risk free. But the scrutiny isn't on it. The microscope is not the way it is at Liverpool or even the likes of Everton. Everton are in a cycle of signing absolute shy and then not working out for them. And every signing then becomes magnified tenfold. Whereas Brentford and Brighton do their business under the radar. And if a player takes a few months to get in, like a Caicedo's one of my favourite players in world football. I love him. He went to Brighton, took him a while. He went off to Beershot in Belgium on loan. No one knew anything about him. Comes back the end of last season and he establishes himself. So there's no pressure. McAllister takes a while to settle in there at Brighton. And Brentford
He's broke his internet
are the
again.
same.
I think he's broke his internet again, and he was making a great point about.
I was going to make a great
point.
point.
Go on, you're there.
Point. I'm back in, am I?
Yeah.
I'm back in.
This
but
is
Brighton
all
or
over
Brentford,
the place. Go on.
I know. It'd be great audio.
Yeah.
Brentford, the likes of Ivan Toney, they took a gamble on him. went in and he's doing the business for them. Embuemo, a handful. Wisse always does well against us. I don't know what he's like in every other bleeding match, but whenever they play us up
I had
there,
a team where I backed him to score for about 4 weeks in a row, and he didn't. And then when I stopped backing him, he scored. So I stay away from Wissa.
yeah, stay away. But they just pull these lads out and take risks. Whereas you spoke about Everton last night, you and Shawnee, and they're signing Neil Maupay. Neil Maupay was the problem at Brighton, that he didn't have a striker who scored, and then Everton are bringing him in.
Brighton's
so
problem was
Southampton,
they play
Everton
good
are all these.
football, but they have Neil Maupay.
Yeah.
And then Everton went, here's 18 million quid for Neil Maupay.
Do you know what we need? Neil Maupay.
Yeah.
And that's what's the difference between the smartly run clubs and the really poorly run clubs. And I think Brentford and Brighton are two examples of that. And
well, can I ask you something then? Fulham are up there, right? They're on the same amount of points as us, think, with a game in hand. But if there was one club that you'd like to see get Europe this season, who would it be?
Brighton. But one of these outside rankers, like one of these dark horses.
Like, and I'm
Fulham,
glad
Brighton.
because I'm glad you said Brighton, because
Brighton are the ones.
Is that the next step for Brighton?
I think it is. I don't think Brighton can go very far. You know, there's, unfortunately with these clubs, unless you're getting the cash influx and even the recruitment being spot on, it's only going to get you so far. And I think what Brighton need to do is they need to get to that sort of European level and try and establish themselves, whether it's the Conference League, the Europa League, or whatever it is. And that'll keep them, allow them to bring these players through. They're not going to... Stranger things have happened. They're not going to break into the Champions League spaces, but that's what they should be aiming for. Thursday night football, or whenever you play the Conference League, Wednesday morning or whatever. We'll find out about that soon enough.
Tuesday at about 1:30.
Yeah, we'll find that out soon. But that should be the next step for them, because they're a well-run club. They're getting their recruitment right, but their management recruitment is good as well, you know, and there's a plan and there's a strategy in there. And I just think they're the ones I'd look at out of that group that I think, yeah, they could do a push. Who knows?
And like you say, Brighton, so you know, Liverpool have been linked with Soiseda or Koiseda, whatever way you want to say it, right? Is that another reason why you won't see him move in January? Because Brighton are looking, going, you know what, we can make you away for cup spot here. Now, in saying that, right, they're doing very well. Their squad isn't the biggest. You know, when you look beyond their 11, it's not. It wouldn't be stacked as people would say. But like when you look at Arsenal, City, Newcastle at the moment, United, Liverpool, right? They're the five there really shouting for 4 places probably when all is said and done. But they could really look and go, you know, we could sneak a 6th, 7th here. And 7 probably gets you in the Europa League, because usually it ends up at 7, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There's loads of bleeding jiggery.
Well, 7th is usually Conference League now. 5th and 6th is usually Europa League.
Yeah, and I suppose, it depends on other winners of things and all. But yeah, like 7th place, there's no reason why Brighton can't aim for that. They may not get it, who knows? But, you know, we look at Caicedo, and you're right. That's the reason why I think it makes it harder in January. And it's one thing that Liverpool probably don't do enough is push these deals. We've seen it with Konate. They couldn't get a centre-back they wanted to. Turned out to be Konate. And they settled on Kabak and Davis. And I think it'll be hard to, and that was because we were due to play Leipzig in the Champions League. And I think that's why it'll be hard to get Caicedo this month out, unless you throw really silly money at them in you know, one big installment, one big lump. That's too hard, and I don't think Liverpool are going to do that. So, you know, it'll be interesting. But they've gone and bought the best young talent in Argentina now. Do you know what I mean? That they've gone out and got this 18-year-old kid called Facundo. I have to read this out because I can never pronounce this right. Facundo Buonanotte, and he's quality, and he's going to be he's the best young talent, a midfield, attacking midfielder, and they've got this kid lined up now, so they're going to sell Caicedo at some point. They're probably going to sell Alexis McAllister at some point, and they're just going to bring through another kid you've never heard of. They'll bring through another kid from Paraguay or another kid from somewhere like that, and they're just going to keep doing it because they've got an excellent setup. Now, we know Chelsea have robbed all that, but we'll see how they continue in that vein. But that's why it'll be hard, because they're going to be pushing and they're going to see an opportunity to get European football. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But they're the team I'm looking at outside of all the traditional teams, and Newcastle, who I think can push it. But, you know, Fulham are in 7th, as you said. they're doing excellent. Do you know what I mean? They're doing brilliant. Who's their manager these days? Is it Marco Silva?
Yeah,
They change all the
Marco
time, don't
Silva,
they?
yeah.
Marco Silva's good to a level as well. You know, he's a guy that again got ran out of
Everton.
Everton, but you know, bigger and better than him have got run out of there for less. So I wouldn't be putting that on his as a blotch on his CV. But you know, you're looking at it and they're surprising. You know, Chelsea at 10th. We expect them at some point. They spent 200 million on defenders this season. 200 million. They're 10th. They're bleeding brutal. You'd expect them to start ramping up, but other than that, like Villa under Emery might jump up a few places, but you know there is really an opportunity there for one of the outside teams to get in and really have a go at it.
Yeah, I think like if you look at it, Arsenal, City, United, Newcastle, Liverpool, right? That's 5, and then you're probably looking at 2 more spots on top of that. And one of them will end up in UEFA, one will end up in Conference League, right? Someone in our chat believe, might have been Chris said, Chris Golding said, we have 7 written all over us, right? So let's go up the top end, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you straight out who wins the title.
Yeah.
Who wins the title?
Man City.
Right.
I think Arsenal, until Arsenal have mathematically won that title, and I've nothing against Arsenal as a club. I like Arsenal, but I don't trust them to be able to go and they've only lost 1 game and drawn 2. You know what I mean? I just don't trust them to do the 90 points until they do the 90 points. And I think City will do that. Do you know what I mean? So until Arsenal mathematically have it, I won't have them down as winning the league. So I'll go with City to win it. I was going to go with Liverpool. I really think Liverpool, if they get their act together, but we're starting to play lose players now, and that's killing me. I thought we could have really pushed on, and won the feat.
So you would have City winning it with Arsenal second?
City winning it. At the moment, yeah. I would have had Liverpool second. If you'd have asked me last week, I would have had Liverpool second. 4 wins on the bounce and, looking like not performing well, but a Gakpo to come into that. But now a defeat can kill you. But, people are talking about Spurs being too strong. They were shite last week. I don't trust them either. But I just think losing Van Dijk, lose a couple of others, which we inevitably will, and that'll be us done and dusted. So I'm a bit scared. Now, I'm saying that, I'm going to put us down for 4th. I think even with the scut that we're in, I think we're going to get 4th. I think United will get 3rd.
I think United are on a great run of form.
Yeah, they're a good team and they're a good manager. And I was only talking about this today with a United fan. I don't think he's the second coming of Jesus, as some United fans seem to think about Ten Hag. But what he is he's a good manager that's not afraid to make a few big decisions, tough decisions.
I think he's making them difficult to beat.
Yeah, and that you bring
for all the talk of like Rashford, right? Right, Rashford has 1 more goal I think than Darwin Núñez this season, and Rashford's being literally hailed as the second coming of Jesus, right? On Sky Sports and stuff like that. But the big thing for me with United is like I'm not seeing teams getting bag loads of chances against them. Like they get absolutely hockeyed against City, right? But other than that, there's not teams getting bag loads of chances. They're not giving away a hell of a lot of goals, and they're not robbing games. But Wolves away 1-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going here 1-0. 2-1. So they're keeping it really tight. Casemiro's being massive. Kevin Ball says he's made it, and he's right. He's made Casemiro's made a massive difference. Plus Rashford has been great. Don't get me wrong. He's a completely different player than what he was last season. But I think what's happening is that, and it's a bit like Liverpool at the moment. Like I think Darwin Núñez and others are suffering up the top end of Liverpool's pitch, where if we don't score this, we might concede. Whereas a couple of years ago, we didn't score. It didn't matter. We'll go and score some other time. We won't concede. Whereas United are getting a bit of that where they're confident in what they're doing because they're harder to beat. They're much more solid, and they're not outstanding by any means.
No, I don't think they're great to watch at all. But if you look at them, right, Harry Maguire, I think if I rocked up at Carrington, I'd get a game ahead of Harry Maguire at this stage. Luke Shaw and all's getting runs in centre half, and the problem was because they paid 80 million for him, he had to play. Now it's an obvious decision. And when Ten Hag first came in, he's saying, no, he stays as captain. And a few training sessions soon enough, he's like, get that piece of fucking shit out of this team. He is disgusting, disgraceful. But the main thing for me that they've done is they've replaced a pivot in their midfield of McTominay and Fred with Casemiro and Christian Eriksen. And that's going from a Lada to a bleeding Lamborghini. Do you know what I mean? Now, we know Casemiro, and they're not the most mobile. They're wily. They're intelligent. They've got bags of experience.
They're footballers,
and they're footballers. And it allows the likes of Rashford to play, allows the likes of Bruno Fernandes to play, who I think is hugely overrated, I must say, Bruno Fernandes. I'm not a fan of his. But because of that, and they've got Rashford for it, it's allowed, to me, how Anthony sneaks under the radar, how Darwin Núñez is getting a dog's life, and Anthony sneaking under the radar for 100 million with the shit that he's putting in. But they've got the goodwill at the moment, and they're on the good vibes. It's all rosy, and that's being allowed to happen. But the shoring up of that midfield, and then their defence. Lisandro Martinez, look, I love Argentinians. Everyone knows that. He's been a great signing for them. Alongside Varane, the centre of the midfield, tidied up, made all the difference. And we're seeing at Liverpool, if you're getting overrun, you're getting overworked the midfield, you're fucked. And they sorted their midfield out, so that's why they're looking good. But let's see how it goes. You know what I mean? I think this is one of them down seasons for Liverpool, certainly, and a down season for City, and everyone else is now getting in and having their pound of flesh. You know what I mean? Like the crows picking over the carcass, or the vultures picking over the carcass.
Because like I think City are 5 behind Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
But they're only 4 ahead of United.
Yeah.
And I think it's so hard to call at the minute. Like, I understand Liverpool fans saying, "Oh, you know what, we miss out on this," and we absolutely could. I think it's going to be a struggle for top 4, and I don't mean that in a way that I don't believe Liverpool can do it. But when you look at Newcastle are going really well. Yeah. The funny thing, right? The only thing I will say
they're the ones I'm looking at dropping out.
But the only thing I will say is, people are bigging up Newcastle here and bigging up United, right?
Yeah.
And I think if Liverpool win that game, they go within 2 points in Newcastle, right? So there's 5 points between Newcastle, United and Liverpool, which is nothing really when you think about it. United have to play Arsenal and City coming up. Arsenal have to play City and United. So it's all, those three are kind of having a little merry-go-round with each other in the next couple of weeks, right? But what I'm saying is that
there's going to be...
Yeah, but the thing is, Liverpool won 4 in a row and then lost to Brentford, right? Yeah. United have won 4 or 5 in a row. Newcastle didn't beat Leeds at home. There's a lot of inconsistency going on, to the point where Liverpool are sitting on a certain amount of points, and United are sitting on a certain amount, and Newcastle, and the outlook on all of them is completely different. Yeah. And the reason people are saying Newcastle's doing really well is because they are, but at the same time they're saying it because they think, well, they're doing really well, but will they keep it up? The sort of way. And a bit like that with United, whereas Liverpool is probably the low-hanging fruit, where you can just go bang, Liverpool are playing shy. But what I would say is that there's a long way to go in it, right? There's 20-odd games to go, right? In around that for most teams. Between 20 and 19 games, I think, to go. There's loads of football to be played. Liverpool need to sort their away form. They really need to sort their away form. They have to do something in midfield in January. I think it could make or break what will happen to Liverpool this season. Can Liverpool afford to be out of the Champions League? Probably yes, for one season. But with recruitment and stuff like that, it's a bit mad. Chris Brack says 7 points between Liverpool and Newcastle, so we can make the gap 4 points, I presume. Liverpool play majority of the teams we are chasing at home. Currently form is 6 wins in 9. Liverpool bringing Nerf going to a gunfight now, says Egyptian King. Egyptian King seems very, very down about things at the moment. But honestly, you beat Wolves, and if you go away and win at Brighton, everyone's going, "Oh, what grand, Brentford was a bit of an outlier." And the same at United. If United lose, they're going, "Oh, but they won 5, but now look who they got beaten to." It's all going to be very reactionary week on week. But
it's the time.
Do you see City and Arsenal clear?
I see City going clear. Arsenal have not proved to me that they're not going to win it this season. They've been excellent. You know what I mean? Every test that they get, and they're overcoming them. But I just don't trust them, and I think City have not been great. But I just think, they get a scuttery 1-0 tonight. And just to be clear, I wouldn't watch Man City if they were playing in the sitting room here beside me. I think they're bleeding awful.
Well, you'd have to be in the sitting room because it was on the telly, your internet would be gone.
Yeah, that's it. If I was watching on any sort of internet record stuff, I would
Yeah.
be fucked. But no, I think they're awful. I think they're dreadful. But they're a machine, and I hate these machine type teams. And I just think they're going to get that shit together. I think they've got goals in them when that big fucking Egypt Haaland is getting chances around the place. And I just see them coming through. I think when the pressure comes on, Arsenal, I think will start sweating and will start dropping points. And when you get to that, I think you spoke about it last night or the night before. Draws in this league might as well be defeats when you're in a title charge and you're going at that 90-point target. Draws can be killers, and that's where I think Arsenal will start slipping up if they get 1 or 2 draws and the heat comes on them. Again, 1 defeat's a killer. Liverpool lose to Brentford and the whole thing changes. If
Yeah,
we'd have
well, the
won
whole
that
narrative
game,
does change.
if Liverpool win that game, it's like 5 wins on the bounce. Cody Gakpo is coming into the team. If you can get a midfielder, it's all looking rosy. Instead, Pep Linders is getting the blame of blade and everything. Do you know what I mean? He's getting the rap for anything that's going. That poor
Anything that's
fucker is
moving,
getting
yeah.
the blame for.
Kev Ball says Arsenal being written off very easily with people playing much better than City. Yeah, Kev. Arsenal
we're
are.
not saying that. No?
But the thing is, they're playing way better than City, and they sit 5 points ahead of them, right? And I don't think City have really turned up this season. Will they turn up? They mightn't. And Arsenal could be sitting 10 points clear when we're sitting here in 4 or 5 weeks. But City have, course and distance. They know what they're doing, and they can literally just go and win 10, 11 in a row without breaking sweat. We know this. And once you see what happens with teams, will still see Arsenal as a chance to go and play against them. Whereas what happens is, if City have won at Chelsea tonight, if City were to go and beat Arsenal and United, right, they'd be at most 2 points behind Arsenal. But what happens is the rest of the league look and go, City are back, and they just go out and they lie down and they get their bellies tickled for the rest of the season. And that's nothing against Arsenal. It's what happens when it's Manchester City. Because let's be honest about it, bar 19-20, right? Any time we've went up against City, we seem to be playing and teams are throwing everything they fucking can on us. And that following week they go and they get beaten 5-0 by City, and they be 2 goals down in 8 minutes, and they be there going, just stop the fucking, someone throwing the towel.
Somehow Raheem Sterling is back playing for City, getting 2 back post tap-ins.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, me and Shani were talking about it last night, and I was saying, we were talking about transfers and stuff like that, and I was saying, outside of Arsenal, it's probably 12, 13, 14 players. They look a bit stretched, and that was me thinking that. I've heard a couple of Arsenal commentators saying Arteta looks reluctant to use players beyond this 13 and 14, and he might have to at some stage. But if Arsenal bring in 2 players in January, you go, they have an extra attacking option and especially an extra midfield option, because I think if they lose Partey, they're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Then you might turn around and go, well, do you know what? They're 15, 16 now, and all you need is a bit of luck. And I said it last week, I think it's Arsenal's title to lose. It is, because they're 5 points clear. You know what I mean? It's still theirs to lose. I don't think City have been good, but City, you know what they can do. But then again, City have this way about them every so often where they just lose their way, and they give you a chance, and if you take it, they lose interest. And especially around the Champions League stuff, I think that's
exactly. And as you said, it's not that we don't think Arsenal are playing better. They are. We can see that. But until they prove that they can get clear to City and not feel that pressure, I'd fancy City to overtake them, personally.
We're not going to stay all night here tonight, because we've been very, very busy. Another show tomorrow, another show Saturday, another show Sunday. I won't be here on Sunday, by the way, so I'll make sure I'll sort the lads out, and then we'll be back into it again next week. But before we go in and pick our top 4 and maybe our 5th, 6th and 7th, because of that, couple of things, right? Our charity push for breast cancer research starts hopefully next Monday. Now, I did report this to you last week, and I said that a girl up the road from me, she is going to run the marathon for breast cancer research, right? And I think I said maybe 3, 4 of them. Turns out there's 11 of them.
Fair play.
Don't know where they fucking found them from, but it's basically the local GAA club here. These girls all play GAA. Now they're all, they're not 19, 20. They're all around my age. They're mature, more mature women.
Fair play, your age.
Yeah, they are. So what they do is they play this. They call it Gas for Maz. It's GAA for mothers and others is basically what it's called. But 11 of them have got together and they're all going to run the marathon. 11 of them running 26.2 miles or whatever it is, right? They're going to do it for breast cancer research. And what we're going to do is we're going to hoping to launch it next week alongside the 11 girls doing it. They're going to absolutely go out and do everything they can to raise as much money as they can. So are we. And come June, we're going to hopefully have our golf day, which all the money from that will go to. We're going to have a benefit night that night as well to hopefully off the back of the golf day where loads of people turn up. We'll have prizes, entertainment, raffles, all that sort of thing. So we're starting on Monday. We're hoping that it will just be a simple GoFundMe link. So there won't be any Revolut or PayPals or anything like that. Basically, when Monday comes, we'll throw out all the details. We make no apologies for it. It's going to be on every show, every tweets, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever we can put it, we're going to put it. Okay, we're going to raise as much as we possibly can. We've 11 people, which is incredible. That the 11 of them are going to train together, by the way. They're going to train for a marathon together. So it's hard enough pushing yourself to do something like this, but to do it as a team and keep pushing each other, I just think is off the wall, Matt. Right?
You're not one of the 11 now going on the
No, I'm 12 man, Keith.
Just in case.
I'm first sub, and if any of them fall out, I'm second sub.
Put them back in.
Yeah, get back in there. I'm not doing that. But listen, overall, it's incredible, really, Keith, because breast cancer affects. I know anyone I speak to said, "Oh yeah, me wife, me cousin, me auntie," and this goes from any age, really. Any age as a woman, you can get it. The idea is to catch it early. Research helps to catch it early. It also helps if they don't catch it as early. Women can live, because it kills women, or have a standard of life, or don't have to have too many intrusive operations. All research is massive, and I think cancer is just a bastard.
It's a buzzkill, isn't it?
It's
hits everyone, fucking everyone.
And do you know what? We've picked it. Chris Golden says I need to shave. Chris Golden's in awful form as well. Jesus, you're all in bad form. What's going on? What's going on? I haven't had time to fucking shave, Chris. I'm mad busy. Double busy, as what's your man's name? Mickey Flanagan would say. But look, on a serious note, we're delighted to support this breast cancer research. I'm blown away that it was 4, but it just, when they told me today it was 11. I've told them that we're going to help them, and they are over the moon, and it's going to push them. They have so many ideas of how they want to raise money, and what we're going to do is we're going to do it all together. We're all going to have this, hopefully, one GoFundMe link, and basically wherever you go, you give this GoFundMe, and this GoFundMe is for 11 people that are going to run 26 miles in October in Dublin, probably in the pissings of rain because it's Dublin, and it's going to be for breast cancer research. So when it comes to Monday, we're going to say the same thing. If you can donate, please do. If you can share, please do. Bring it into work, bring it everywhere. It's going to be one link that you can just give to people, and you can help them, and we can raise as much money as we can. And they asked me, like, I was telling them about what our listeners have helped do in the past, and they were just blown. They were like, what? You know what I mean? Like, Sienna, 120 grand helped to do that. 150 grand for Bobby, $100,000 for Keane, 10,000 for Failicon, and they were just absolutely blown away. So I salute these 11 women that are going to do this, and I think they all deserve our support because if they see that money rising, it pushes them on to get it done,
100%.
And it makes them feel good about themselves that they're really, really helping. So I'm really happy and proud that we're going to support these women to do this, and then them in turn is going to do that marathon. And then at the end of it, between us all, we're going to be able to say to breast cancer research, there you go, there's money. That's the best we can have. We've done our absolute best from January through to whenever we decide to finish it, and there's our input from it. So look, just support us as much as we can. We're not sorry that it's going to be all over your timelines. And
they know the score.
And if you can help. And listen, it's not for us. Like, if you're going to donate, just donate because 11 women are going to run the Dublin Marathon as a team and train for it as a team. All right.
for a cause that has hit.
It
There's
hits
nobody
everyone.
that avoids it. There's
No,
nobody that
no,
avoids this in some way, shape, or form.
no.
So, the cause is excellent. As all the causes that we sort of look at in this, you always are. But this is something that, while we may have done things in the past that you look at and you think you'd have a sympathetic ear to some of the stories, this is something that hits everyone. And,
Yeah.
let's push it. We won't apologise. We'll be driving it home as we always do. So,
Yeah. And
just
at
get
some
behind it.
stage, I might try interview a couple of the women that are doing it, and just to get an update on their training. Some of them might have had friends or family or relations, wherever it might be, they're affected by this, and if they want to talk about it, they can. But listen, it's a colossal undertaking that they're taking. It's for a great cause, and we're delighted to help with it and promote it. And do our golf day. Our golf day is going to be all about it, so all the proceeds for that are going to come as well. So we will be looking for donations.
You know what we should do?
Whether that be money, prizes, whatever.
We
What
should
should
have
we
a
do?
charity shootout with the GAA Maz and see the Trippers against the Gamas and see who can hop more points over a bar in the GAA and film it.
Oh,
Shouldn't we do?
I
I'm
reckon we
not
battered them.
nominating myself. There, I
Yeah.
have point and talk. Eh?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I'm
you're
going to tell them
confident.
that.
I'm confident.
So we have a sponsored point off against them. Is that what you're telling
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Okay. All right, we
Is
can
it
make that
hurling
work.
or football? Hurling or
Football.
football? Football, yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
Pick a few, 11 Maz, a load of Trippers
Yeah.
over that bar.
All you were
Giddy up.
thinking about was points, ain't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We get it sorted. I'm sure we can get enough trippers together, and if some people from the chat, if they want to come along and try kick points over the bar
Yeah.
for charity.
Preferably ones with GAA experience. 'Cause
Yeah,
I have fucking
probably
none.
ones that could kick a football. But look, that's that. I wanted to get that out of the way. I
Lovely.
do take an awful lot of your time up when I start talking about that, because it's something we're just massively passionate about, and it just blows my mind. Like, one person on the marathon blows my mind. Like,
Yeah.
but 11 of them is just they're all relying on each other. That's what I love about it. And
Yeah.
they'll do it. I know they'll do it, because I know a few of them, and they're so fucking stubborn, and they will do it, and they're so grateful for us to come on board and help them, and we're so happy to help them. So that'll come next week anyway. Right, Keith. Numbers 1 to 7 in the league. Talk to me.
Yeah. City, Arsenal, United, Liverpool. Because I'm not putting us outside that top four.
Right.
Spurs, Newcastle, Brighton,
Okay.
Chelsea, 8.
Okay.
They miss out.
City. Although I love Arsenal to win it. City. I'm sorry, before I go on, people going, oh, when we were up against City, Arsenal fans were saying they're saving football and all. That's just jealousy, right?
Yeah.
If you go down to more principles of the game, I want Arsenal to win the league, right?
Yeah.
But City, just Arsenal, Liverpool,
Bigger balls than I have, Gav. Bigger balls than me.
Liverpool, United. But I think that top four will be quite comfortable. Newcastle,
Hard to beat. I'd need a bastards.
Spurs,
Fuck. Are you going for the romantic one here?
Chelsea.
No.
No. I'm going one way and then I'm going the other way, as compared to you. So that would be my thing. But look, we always do shows like this, don't we? Every so often, where we try to predict and we look at it, and we just thought we throw it in there for a Thursday night. I have a question for you that I want to throw up now in a minute, and we'll spend 5 minutes on it. I did say I want to be out of here at 10 to 11, but I need to ask you this question. Tomorrow, the Premier League forecast is on, but obviously it's cup weekend, so the lads will be on tomorrow night with that. 10 p.m. on Saturday night will be your full-time Reds after Liverpool against Wolves, and Sunday at 10 o'clock will be the Fatback 4, but it will be, I think, Keith, Shawnee, Emma, and we'll add one more person in, because I won't be here. I'm away. I'm taking a week off. It's horrendous, isn't it?
Well for you.
I know, as well for me. But before we go, Keith, I asked you a couple of weeks ago about the problem with butter and bread, right?
How's that coming along?
Not great. Not great. I have the jitters every time I do it. But do you know what I was doing yesterday? I was peeling potatoes yesterday. Now, what do you do when you peel potatoes? Peel them on the counter,
Yeah.
right? Do you peel them straight onto the counter and then try pick them up and bring them to the bin, and inevitably one falls?
Oh, my missus does that. Drives me fucking mad. I peel them, right? Either I'll get a bit of kitchen roll or the bag of the potatoes. Potatoes. People say, "But what's a potato?"
A
And
potato.
it's either or else the pull out bin under the sink. And I do not sheet blade and peel straight onto the counter.
Yeah, I do
And
as
it
well.
drives me fucking mad.
Yeah.
Drives me mad. Picks them up and lays about 12 skins there lying around. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Pick them up, will you? It drives me mad. No way. Into a bit of paper or something. So you pick it all up in one go. Boom. Drop them in.
Oh, so you're preparing the counter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
I peel any veg and I'm sort of, but
Oh
the
no, I
potatoes are
like
the worst.
I'll go in there now and I'll peel carrots and parsnips and potatoes, and I'll peel them all at the one time onto the counter, right? And then now sometimes sometimes you get the carrots in like the tray. I'll use that
Yeah.
tray as
Yeah.
my little bin, but I always end up with, say, the carrots and the parsnips peelings in their own little tray that I've taken them out of. But obviously, if I'm not using all the potatoes out of the bag, I
Yeah.
can't peel into the potato bag, so I'm peeling onto the counter. But my big thing is that people say like, "Oh, pull the bin over to you," because my bin isn't under the counter; just my bin stands out, right?
Yeah. No,
So,
mine's fixed under the sink. So
I'm like, if I pull this all the way over here, then it's fucking. Is it laziness that I don't pull the bin over? Because
that's
it's
what,
probably
yeah.
be about 11, 12 feet to pull it over, but then again, just picking them up. What annoys me about it is, no matter how well you think you've got this little pile of, potato peels into a nice little pile, and you've picked them up really well.
Yeah.
No matter what way you feel and you're secure, as soon as you get, I would say 40% towards the bin, one falls and you hear it. They're not quiet, potato peels, when
No.
you hit tile
There's a
floor. There's a little
not a
slap.
splash. There's a
Yeah, a
little
little
slap.
slap,
Yeah, a
isn't there?
little slap.
Yeah.
And you're like, you bad. But that's why straight onto a bit of kitchen roll. Now, you know what I mean? I'm heading for the divorce courts because my missus is buying endless supplies of kitchen rolls and doesn't know where it's going.
Yeah.
But it's going on the veg peelings. But when you
Owen
peel
Buck
them,
says
right?
peel them straight into a small food waste bin. Too many bins. Kev Sullivan says into the sink. Now that's bleeding
That's
tenement.
a scumbag. That's
That's
a
tenement,
scumbag.
isn't it? You
That's a
don't
scum
peel
of the
potatoes
earth.
into a sink.
No.
Do you ever
no.
do
Because
you ever notice if you do peel potatoes into a sink, right? That when you go to take them out, you can feel all the grit and all in the sink, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
having that.
yeah,
Just
no.
scoop it off the edge of the counter. How is this an issue? No, you can't scoop. No, I'm talking like, this isn't like dinner for one. Where
Yeah,
you
this is a
peel
big
like,
pile of fucking
it's
potato skins.
yeah,
This is a whopper thing,
yeah.
yeah.
My wife and kids love potatoes. Like, yeah, give me
We're
loads.
Irish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This isn't like one potato
Chris
or anything.
peels them into a bag, then put each peeled potato into an empty pan, never straight on the counter.
Well, that's me next one. What's your game after you peel them? Are you just peeling them and putting them straight into the counter? Mine have to go into a pot of water
No,
straight away.
I peel my potatoes and
Yeah,
I put them on the counter.
yeah.
The peeled potatoes. And the peels over here, right? And then I go to the bin, I get upset
Yeah,
over that, right? And I get upset over one or two falls, so I pick them up, put them in, and then I come back and I cut my potatoes up, because you never should have them too big going into the pot.
no,
Into
no.
a pot, fill it with water, empty it into the sink. Just the water now, hold the potatoes in the pot. Do that 2 or 3 times to make sure they're cleaned off. And then
I don't
onto
do
the
that to clean them off,
But-
so we're nearly similar.
But the thing is, right, when I get them onto the hob, I immediately have to turn around and get the counter cleaned, because when the potatoes peels dry as they go white on the counter, and my missus comes in and goes,
God.
"Oh, what are you doing to the counter?" And I'm like, literally 11 seconds ago I stopped peeling them potatoes. Why are you saying this to me? So
Yeah.
it's a bit mad, isn't it?
Peel them onto a bit of kitchen
Sony
roll,
says he
lift
puts
it
down
up in there.
he puts a sheet of newspaper down.
There you go, same principle. That's even better. I
Chris
don't
says,
buy
lads,
newspaper, so it's probably more
potato
expensive.
skins in the kiln takes a
fucking-
while, but you get a bottle of gold blind juice within 6 months. So he's making some sort
He's
of
making
fucking
some sort of
potty.
vodka or something. Is he? Love it. I like that.
So I'm going to read a few out. Onto a sheet of newspaper, wrap up into the red fire. Sorted, keeps the fire going. Like, oh Jesus, he's fucking throwing them in the fire and everything.
Yeah.
Fry the spud skins in a hot oil are lovely. No. Peel them into the sink, water running, then scoop the skins up. How long are you leaving the water running for? Your hands will be Jesus freezing.
Yeah, that's see that I'm not into that, because Yeah, they're not going into the sink.
Olivier says, Gav, you are a caveman. No, I don't think it's caveman thing where you it's more strategy, isn't it?
Well, I think in the last couple of weeks we've discovered that you're a scumbag when it comes to peeling potatoes and you can't put that bread anymore. So
I'm not
I don't know
even a
what the
fucking, not even a
the parameters
caveman.
are for the caveman, but
Yeah.
I think they're feeling hard done by here.
Teach the dog to eat them as a treat, says Chris. Fucking hell, I have to get a dog now. Because I don't have a dog. Can't deal with unwashed potatoes, too much work.
You have to put them in the pot, water, whole. You don't even have to chop them at this stage. Put them in there, get rid of your skins, all that. Then take them out onto a chopping board, cut them into the size you want, back into your water. Am I gone?
No. No, you're still here. No, he is gone. He is gone. Anyway, he'll come back and tell you that in a minute. Rory says he gets slaughtered from his missus too for his love of kitchen roll. I need a good thick, water absorbing, heavy duty, no messing kitchen roll. Jesus, like kitchen roll's expensive. Salted water in the pot, says Bejan. No, I don't. I go for Keith. Keith's there. He's coming in and out. Are you there, Keith? He'll come back now. No, in our house it's potatoes done, mashed, and then a tiny drop of milk and some butter in there. Tom Bones says, fuck it, just go out for dinner. Yeah, fair enough. Martin says that people wonder why there's war in the world. Listen, it's I just thought I'd ask the question. I didn't think it was going to get this sort of reaction, to be honest with you. Like, it was only a straightforward question, like, you know what I mean?
No, it's all sorts of carry on with you, you know what I mean? I got so worked up when the internet broke on me again. Like, it's...
Carl says you should really charge for this content. No, we don't charge for content, Carl. But no one to pay.
Yeah,
Like,
who's going to pay the illusion
if we turned around tomorrow and said, listen, by the way, we're doing 50 shows a month now, and it's going to cost you £3, nobody will pay for it. So don't worry about it.
Your loyal fan base would soon walk away.
We can't get people to hit a like button.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there'd be 400, 500 people watching the show, and like 70 of them hit like. So we can't even get people to hit a like button. Never mind fucking.
We always say these shows are just like lads talking down the pub. So if we start charging you for it, you might as well just go to the pub.
Yeah, I know. And it costs you a fortune down there, the price of a pint.
Yeah. That's true, yeah.
Martin says you guys definitely need help. Well, yeah, that's a very fair point.
Yeah,
potato and sweet potato mashed together is the best, says Owen.
I hate sweet potato.
I love sweet potato.
No, I'm not into it.
I love sweet potato with like like a garlic or a spicy sauce. I love that. And somebody was telling me the other day about some kind of spicy mayo that they get in Super Value, but I looked in Dunn's, but I haven't seen it, obviously, because Super Value sell it.
Yeah, Super Value's own brand stuff.
Yeah,
I had a look at Dunn's, didn't have it, gave up on it.
I'm just in Dunn's going, why don't they have this here? Like, Super Value have it, like, you know, but that's just me, you know. Like, going in with, like, so much belief that Dunn's will have this thing when it's clearly just sold in Super Value. Yeah. Newspaper lads, kitchen roll not good enough for a big family. Never realised how personal potato peeling preferences could be, says Ashley. There you go. Peel potato skins in sink, rinse potatoes, put in pan with water on gas stove, add salt, says Bonkers. I don't
what
add
do you
salt.
peel them with?
Oh, a peeler.
A proper big one or a little spade one?
What's a speed one now?
The smaller ones that you just fly through them. Cut the fingers off.
My one is like a black handle, and then it kind of goes up like that, and across, and the blades on it. Now, I don't like them ones, you know, like they're only about that size, and you kind of do them sideways on it. Yeah.
Do you know what I say, and this is an age thing, like, if you ever see a ma or something and they're peeling it with a knife, the fuck out of here, yeah, that's too much like hard work. You know, in the olden days, they used to peel them with knives and all that.
Yeah.
Did you say you don't put salt in your potatoes?
No, I don't put salt in my potatoes.
You don't season? Oh, no way.
No, I put a drop of milk and some butter.
No, before you cook them in the water, you put salt in the water. No.
No.
Doing it wrong. Yeah, you can't butter, you can't boil spuds. You're having a mare.
Yeah, I'm having a mare. You can't even get on bleeding the internet.
And I'm having a better time than you, and that tells you all you need to know.
Lads, pub chatter off, license prices, great laughs, as Archie Dillon. Listen, I'm sure next week, and this is just me being in the house and kind of going, I wonder what the lads think of that, because I do ask them all random. Like,
Yeah.
we ask each other mad questions all the time, but I just thought I'd ask.
Look at that. Kev O'Sullivan.
Kev O'Sullivan is a
Leading
scumbag.
Cork's
He's a
finest.
scumbag. He is,
Peeling with a
right?
knife.
He's at the
Olden
same. So
days. He's an older
Kev
generation,
O'Sullivan's
Kev
now
is.
peeling his potatoes with a knife into his sink.
Yeah.
It's Madge Apple says Aldi's jumbo kitchen all is cheap as chips. No one has newspaper anymore. Very, very good point.
Yeah.
Madge
Haven't had a
Apple, is this
newspaper
Aldi in the UK or Ireland? For the same prices, wouldn't they be?
Yeah.
More or less. Yeah. I'm due a trip to Aldi and Lidl just to have a wander around. I love having a wander around them shops.
The Oil of Shite
Not
down
the middle aisle.
middle.
No, not even for the middle aisle. Just to wander around and go, oh yeah. And then I walk out and end up going back to the shop where I shop. But it's nice to walk down every so often.
You don't buy a chainsaw or anything while you're in
Yeah,
there.
no, I do come back with some stuff. Yeah, I do come back with some stuff. And my wife just looks and goes, you have the receipt, don't you? And I go, yeah. Thomas called me a pagan for not putting salt in the water for when I'm boiling the spuds. Using a knife as an art, says Archie Doolan. Yeah, in battle, but not with fucking peeling potatoes. Like, just catch yourself.
Gav can't put that bread with a knife, so he certainly isn't peeling potatoes.
Yeah, fuck that. Do you know what I mean? But no, it's a potato peeler. It's kind of a long handle on it. Not one of those.
So that's not a spade then. The spade ones is the same principle on the top, but they're shorter, so you just fly through them.
Yeah, the little they're all silver.
Yeah.
They're the speed ones, yeah. Chris Collins says, Gabby, you're definitely a middle oil stalker. No, I just like a wander. Do you know what I love? I love Lidl, you know, in the bakery. Bit of Lidl. Smelling Lidl does be lovely. It's and Rory Fitzgerald
Can't
says
beat a good bakery.
Well, Rory Fitzgerald says that's the kitchen oil we get in reply to Madge Apple. It's not kitchen oil, it's titanium. What a shout. Olivier says, when Gav has you over at the house, he's serving you bland potatoes on a dirty counter. My dinners are amazing. No, you better take that back. Madge Apple says, Ireland around the Euro. I'm going into Aldi to have a look, and I'll just say Madge Apple sent me.
Yeah, Madge sent me.
I'm just in Super Value. I'll be in Super Value going, where's this bleeding kitchen roll? Do you have it in Aldi?
I'm looking for the Aldi kitchen roll. Can you point me in the right direction?
Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, that was a random question. We're going past 11 o'clock. We're way over what we should have
done. You've done your best.
I did my best. I did do my best, Keith. That has been the midweek fix for this week. Don't forget that tomorrow the lads will preview the FA Cup, so make sure you go and check them out. Like and subscribe to us. Make sure you check out bookmakers.com. Their website is in the description. It's full. It is gambling stuff, don't get me wrong. And if you don't like it, that's fine. If you do it responsibly. But there's loads of stuff in there on stats and comparisons as well. So you can have a little look in there if you like without getting into gambling and stuff like that. But it's really good. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, please, because I should be on that tomorrow. And let me know how I got on. And you can give us some feedback on that. Shows coming over the weekend, all next week. Keith should be back. We'll try fixes internet. Shawnee will be back. Chris, Kev, whoever, all the lads. Everyone should be back next week. This was meant to be about the Premier League and where we see it going at the halfway point, but it turns out we ended up being just talking about potatoes. That's life, Keith.
What better way?
That's life. Yeah. That's what all the people
better way to spend a Thursday. That's what the people want. Give them what they want.
Give them what they want. Yeah. Salt and potatoes. Right, we're out of here. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.
Take care.